Well, at this point, I think we can throw the argument against the Second Amendment right out the window. I've never taken any notes for making videos. I've never scripted a video. I've always just turned on the camera and made a video. No matter what the subject or whatever it was I was trying to do, that's just the way I do it. And this one's no different. But in order to make my point, I have to tell a story about someone with a lot of intuitive potential who isn't willing to tap it. I've always had this thing where I could see that kind of potential in people, or at least wise feel it back based on interactions with them. And at least wise in my experience, if you're going to get in touch with your intuitive self, you have to be able to stare into the abyss. And the problem with staring into the abyss, more than likely, when you do, you're going to see yourself. Because that's part of the human condition. Unfortunately, it isn't born into the human race that everything is all unicorn farts and sunshine every day. And you have to be able to deal with your negative side and identify it so that you can make it into a force that you can control. If you're not willing to do so, you end up with behavior in society overall like we've seen over the past few days. It's just a sad fact of our psychic reality. If you're not willing to acknowledge your negative side, potentially your negative side could quite literally eat your psyche alive and control the things that you do. And when that happens, you're susceptible to outside psychic influences that take it even further. As an example, that's why some people are susceptible to being hypnotized and some aren't. The people who are in tune with themselves and have that firewall built within themselves so that either they can't be hypnotized or it's an extremely difficult task to do so. We've had some difficult sailing up till now, but we have now entered uncharted rough waters where people are going to have to make a choice. Are they willing to stare into the abyss and acknowledge the negative things that go on all around them? Or are they just going to look the other way, only focus on the positive, and let negative forces grow even further? I can even put it in the context of the protests that have been started ever since George Floyd's tragic death. In the beginning, it was a just cause. It was something worth protesting for. And the protesters that were participating in that just cause were completely capable of controlling the outcome. Yet when they seen someone break a window or set a car on fire, or worse, chose to do nothing as a mass of people. It wasn't their fight. They didn't need to get involved. And because they took that attitude, things have progressed to where they are right now. And along the way, innocent people have been hurt, killed, lost their property and their businesses, All because the good people who started things out for a good reason were willing to look the other way, weren't willing to stare into the abyss and acknowledge that they had control of the outcome. Overall, this isn't about the people in this country. It's about the people of the world and humanity themselves. And are we willing to stare into that abyss, identify that within ourselves, and be able to change it into a positive outcome by being proactive, by participating, and by using our voices for something else besides getting people to act in a negative fashion. I don't like talking about the supernatural aspect of our existence. It makes me uncomfortable to talk about our intuitive potential within our universe. Because up to this point, in my opinion, most people aren't really ready to go there. But that's where we are, whether we like it or not. And if we're willing to look the other way as atrocities are committed in someone else's name, we're never going to make it to the next level, whatever that level might be. It's one thing to be hypnotized by someone else and made to do actions against your will. It's yet another to hypnotize yourself into inaction that allows those other people who have already been hypnotized to continue with their rampage